Good morning, Groovers. Nice little shot of my bins for you before we head to town. I'm no longer working from home. The carnival is over. I've really enjoyed working from home, and the thought of sitting in traffic for 2 hours a day again doesn't really excite me, but compared to what's going on in the rest of the world, I really don't have anything to complain about. There are two recliners on the side of the road. There's so many recliners on the side of the road because it's hard rubbish. And well, it was hard rubbish week last week, and then the truck drivers got COVIDs. Irvin, oh my God. Cement shoes, hello. Reset the seekers, yes. The carnival is over. There's a couch and there's an armchair. How are you people? I haven't seen any of you forever. Well, I've seen cement shoes. Where's them? Rolling on in and the seekers. I suppose you could use the carnival is over for a lot of stuff at the moment. I was just listening to a news report about Russia cranking up the nuclear weapons now with Ukraine. I'm like, oh my fucking God. You're just stopping by to say hello. You're busy working. Well, thank you, Irvin. I really appreciate you popping. It's so good to see you, Groover. Reese, you've been down, to be fair. Well, hang out here because we got happy as you. Yeah, I'm busy working too, Irvin. And no more. Oops, we've dropped out. I've actually, I think, been way more productive working from home. Everything's so depressing. It's pretty sad, isn't it? You're taking all of that on too. Team Russia, Irvin? What the? I hope that's a joke. Time you out. Um, I mean, when even the Russians are incredibly vocal and protesting about what Putin's doing, that even the Russians don't want this to happen. Oh, your Russian ties. Well, that's fair enough. But I think your team's definitely not the underdog, but the smaller team. Hey, Anastasia, hello. Yeah, soggy commute. I might just pull over. I'm just going to check I don't have my home Wi-Fi or Bluetooth switched on. I'll be very careful. Safety first. I only really read chat when we're doing now we're only doing 50 kilometres. It's pretty slow, even though it looks fast. Evan, I think you've got a bit of a challenge ahead of you with your team. I understand loyalty and brand loyalty particularly, but you may not get a lot of support. Just saying, because I'm totally Team Ukraine. Um, but yeah, it's very difficult to without it affecting your mental health. I'm just going to pull over here and check everything. Is these school kids are like, gee, our bus has changed. You're going to hack me. Everyone you know is pretty much ill. They haven't been right since they got the vax. Really? All right, so we're all good. We have no Bluetooth and we have no Wi-Fi. Awesome. No, you're kidding, Irvin. It's cracking me up. It's cracking me up. But are you kidding about having Russian ties? Because I hate to break it to you, but you're going to lose. God, I love the Ukrainians' attitude. They're almost like Australians. Their sense of humour is very similar to Australians. And throughout all of this, like just their ability to still find things to laugh about. And that's what I tried to do on Batshit the other day. And then Finn went on this bloody, I don't know, angry rant. But I was just trying to show there's so many stories of humanity coming uh, out of Ukraine, despite what's happening to them. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that too, Rose. You are having a really tough time. Well, look, you will get lots of love here, at least. We'll shower you with love. Don't forget, guys, too, to write in capitals because I can't read lowercase. When we're crawling in traffic, it's okay, but like now, if I get a little chance to, that bloody recliner is still on the side of the road. Yeah, if I get a chance to glance down, if it's sentences in caps, but it's just like COVID was sort of like, wow, none of us really thought we were going to live through something like this in our lifetime, probably very naively. And it's really affected the planet, in so many ways. Mostly bad, I think, even though I can see all the positives. It's very hard trying to chat to people about the positives because it's just affected people so much. But yeah, it's kind of a broken planet at the moment, and now this is happening too, and it's just the tip of the iceberg, I reckon. Not being doom and gloom, but I'll try to read your comments at some point, Reese, but yeah, I can't read lowercase when I'm driving. I've deliberately got my phone a long way from my face. And I've got my reading glasses on, but I can't read lowercase at all. It's too far away. But if I get a chance, I will. But let's be honest, my news is pretty crushing, right? No more working from home. Motherfucker. Like, I actually get a lot done. I've got a much better view from my home office than I have from my office. And I'm pretty much sitting in traffic 2 hours a day to sit on a computer screen. Like not sit literally on the computer, but sit at a computer working on these projects that I could be doing at home. Like, I'm not seeing clients face to face. Yeah, I'm just being topical, guys. We can talk about lots of things. Change the subject. Come up with something else for us to talk about. I am following it, and it's not a media. I did see your quick comment there. I do know the media manipulates the public and what stories they're telling and so on. It's just, I've got friends in Ukraine, and I am interested in it. But I still think that that picture of the dog I found that looks like Putin that I showed in Batshit was pretty funny. I don't know why more people don't watch Batshit, because Finn and I find funny stories from around the world, either media, social media, whatever, and just try to make people laugh for an hour, and we can barely get 20 people in watching us. Go live about another YouTube creator and you'll have 1,000 watching you and throwing money at you. I don't get it. I think with the world and all the crazy shit that goes on, people need somewhere to go and have a laugh right now more than ever. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing because we're sort of like just trying to give people a place to come and hang out and have a few laughs. People don't want that. They don't want that. They want drama, which isn't drama at all. It's bitching. They don't want to laugh. They don't want to muck around. We've even had anger in my chat during that shit. Like, well, not even anger, just stirring each other. Like, it just, I cannot understand it. I really want to keep doing YouTube. I really do. But how many years am I going to just try to cheer people up when people don't want to be cheered up, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, if I go live and one person needs cheering up and they come in, that's awesome. It's more that I just don't understand people. I don't understand why people don't want to just escape and have a laugh and ignore all the stuff that's going on in the world and hang out with friends. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me with everything we've been living with for the last few years. People would rather sit at a computer screen typing in a chat of some YouTube creator who's literally screaming and bitching for 6 hours. Like, that's where they choose to go to wind down and switch off. It's bizarre to me. Crystal, hello. It's just very, very, very bizarre to me. I always crave fun and lighthearted people and laughs, and YouTube's just like an upside down world. Everything that we know in our real lives just doesn't apply on YouTube. It's always hard to get your head around because, yeah, the psychology of YouTube and the things people want to watch. Mind-blowing. And many of them are probably mums that say to their kids, you know, be positive, find the silver lining, lighten up, have some fun. And then the kids go off to school and they've gone to bed and the parents are watching the most negative, toxic shit imaginable. Crazy. You explain that to me. After you explain why I'm working back at the office and spending 2 hours in traffic a day, when if I was working from home today, I'd already have my work computer on. I would have got back from the beach, turned on my work computer, and probably be making breakfast or about to jump in the shower. You can be miserable in chat. It doesn't bother me. Like, this is a supportive channel. We talk about each other's like real life issues that are making people sad. So no, don't get me wrong. You're not miserable in my chat at all. You're being you, and that's where you are right now. And you'll get a lot of love and support here. And all good, read the caps as well. Just understand, Reese, if I don't reply to every comment of yours, it's often because I'm just simply not able to read it. And yeah, people talk about, oh, it's important to go to the office for socialising with your workmates. There's a recliner and there's a recliner couch or 2 recliners side by side. But yeah, no, come here for support and love for sure, Reese. There's a lot of love and happiness in our chat, even if we are touching on heavy subjects. We all look out for each other. And subs are the priority here, not, you know, if I go live and I've got something I want to chat about, but subs need us more, then the subs are the stars of the show. Because without you guys, I'd be screwed. I'd literally be going live and talking to myself, which isn't much fun. But yeah, people say, oh, it's important to be in the office for socialising, but we're all social distancing and wearing masks and locking ourselves away in our offices with signs on our doors saying no entry without a mask. But it's all like we can't really socialise. I mean, we can from a distance. So yeah, I don't get it. I liked working from home. And also Sunny's a bit weird since the flea incident. She's really antisocial. I've got her a fell-away diffuser and it doesn't seem to be making any difference. She's still pretty much just living on my bed unless she's eating or going to the loo. And she's actually now starting to act like she doesn't like me. Like she turns away from me if I try to give her a pat. She doesn't purr if I pat her. She doesn't want head massage. She wants nothing. So I'm going to go and speak to the vet. She might have to go on some meds because she hasn't been the same since the fleas. I mean, she has just turned 10. Maybe she's just being a 10-year-old cat. I don't know. Yeah, there's nobody I'd want to see that bad to give up working at it. I know, right? I know. And the other thing that sucks is one of my co-workers is working from home at the moment. And I'm like, why? How come? Thanks, Anastasia. I know Floof's being unwell and strange is stressful. And I've tried so many things. I've been reading so much stuff on Google Machine. I've just had Biscuit's anniversary as well. And so having that, which really punched me in the guts, and then having an unwell cat at the same time has just been a bit much. And I'm trying to spend as much time with her as I can, but she's actually starting to act like I'm the most annoying thing on the planet. Like we have a true mother-daughter relationship at the moment. Not that she's my child, but you know what I mean? Like she don't like me. Hey, Miss OMG, how are you? Welcome. We're just driving to town. The dream is over. My working from home dream is over. At least I'm part-time, so I don't have to do this every day, Monday to Friday. But I might talk to my boss about having a work from home day once a fortnight because this to me is just a massive waste of money more than anything. Fuel is so fucking expensive here now, and once you pay for petrol and car parking to literally sit at your computer, what you could have done at home. It makes no sense to me, but anyway, I'm very obedient. I do what I'm told. Good evening, Ruth Walton. How are you, gorgeous? Oh, you've just moved across country. That's a big move. You would have been very busy. I moved so much when I lived in Adelaide. I moved. I lived in 17 different houses. 2 hours of driving a day must do your crust in. Well, look, it's considering I literally live 35 minutes away from Hobart, but yeah, at this time of the day. And there is another way that I drive to work that some of you know where we're moving the whole time. Like I go the back way through the countryside. But they're doing major roadworks at the moment, which will eventually hopefully make the commute quicker. But the other day, last week, when I had to go in on Friday for training, I got into town so early, it was great. But today I reckon it's a bit like the usual. You're groovy today, Ruth? You're always groovy. You're a groover. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's no bonus for me being early today because I've got to unpack my car. My car is full of my office shit. Oh, you moved from Eastern back to Western Canada. Wow, big move. And you're adjusting. Well, yeah, the time zones do knock you around a bit. It will take you. I mean, you think about daylight saving, just that 1 hour extra or 1 hour less can take a couple of weeks to adjust. So you used to enjoy driving, but nowadays it seems like everyone's half asleep. See, if I don't go live on the tubes, I listen to podcasts and stuff. It doesn't really bother me. There is a bus service, but the problem with the bus service is it leaves half an hour earlier than I need to when I'm driving. Um, and I've got to catch quite an early bus to get to the office in time to start at 8:30. But then at the end of the day, I've got to like wait for 45 minutes for a bus, and I get home nearly an hour later than if I drive. So and it's not cheaper. I mean, obviously for the planet, it'd be better if I did the bus, but we don't have a very good bus service down where I am because I'm sort of down the coast, and yeah, I've weighed it up. I do also often need to go out and about with my job, and it's so much easier if you've got a car, especially if you're going to a conference and you've got heaps of things you need to take with you and unload. It's so much easier doing that in your own car than in like an Uber. How many recliners have we seen on the side of the road? There's been quite a few. There's a mattress up ahead. Just remember to breathe, Ms. OMG. When you're looking at everything you've got to do, just go, right, one thing at a time. Just do one job, do a little list, do your job, cross it off the list, on to the next job, rather than looking at the whole gigantic pile of things ahead of you. Try to break it down to one thing at a time. I actually really like moving. I like culling stuff. I'm not a hoarder. So for me, moving's a great opportunity to get rid of a lot of shit. I always feel lighter and more liberated when I move. You need a mattress? Well, there's a soggy one back there. But by the time it gets freighted to Canada, you could have bought one. One good thing about working at the moment and having to wear masks is no makeup. I mean, I do my eye makeup. I think I might as well have mysterious eyes. Not that I do very good mysterious eye makeup. I literally put on eyeshadow the way I was taught when I used to model, which may not even be the right way. Pretty neutral colours and then a bit of mascara. That's it. But my niece stayed with me on the weekend and she does the most amazing makeup. And it's like, how did you even learn that? We weren't even allowed to wear makeup at school. The first time I wore makeup to school was when I lived in America as an exchange student. And my sister, my host sister, taught me how to put makeup on. And I started wearing makeup to school because it was such a novelty because we weren't allowed to wear makeup to my school. But I did go to school in the 1800s, so, you would be incredibly anxious. And there is so much to do. My best friend is a military wife, and I've seen her go through this every 3 years when they get reposted. And for her, the schools are the biggest issue. Um, and she's only got one child, and just finding the right school for Lockie has always been a massive source of stress for her. And even just getting used to, getting around and all of that sort of stuff, let alone all the unpacking and quite a few of her moves, a lot of their stuff has been really badly damaged. So they just had to deal with that and put in insurance claims. Like it's just a never ending thing. But yeah, just try to remember to breathe. And even if you've got a huge list of stuff at the start of the day, this is a trick I was taught for work a few years ago. When you've got a gigantic to do list, have a look at your list and pull the three most important things for you to do today. Like where you can't see it, and just have your little list of three jobs. And even if you only get two of them done today, tomorrow you'll have whatever's left over and just add two more things and do it that way. Like break your list down and just deal with it bit by bit rather than having a gigantic list of all the stuff you've got to do. Just choose the three most important things you've got to do first, or the priorities. Because you're still going to get phone calls and emails and all sorts of other things coming in as well. But yeah, that's a really handy trick that I learned, because my to-do list just kept getting longer and longer, and I was like, my God, I'm never going to get all of this done. And then someone taught me to just take three jobs, whatever the most sort of urgent, and I don't like using that word because that makes people anxious, but the jobs you've got to get done first. And maybe the third one, do a fun one, like, I don't know, I like unpacking stuff. So, put your third one is like unpack a box in the kitchen or whatever, and make them really small. The third one, make it a small thing that's easy to do. And then if you get all three done, go back to the big list and do the next three things. But break it down. Oh, I saw this morning that the Truth's puppy died. That's so sad. Losing an animal's the worst pain. Yeah, the star. Hello. We've covered a lot this morning. We talked Ukraine and a whole heap of people left. I'm going back to work. Working from home is over, hence the carnival is over. We're talking about moving. We've spotted a shitload of recliners on the side of the road. And as always, I'm curious why so many people on YouTube want to watch negative stuff. Not fun stuff. How are you, Be Other Star? What's news? But yeah, my heart goes out to the Truth. It's awful losing an animal. And Lolly was a bit of a... We're back. Oh, I wouldn't bother rewinding. It's just me rambling along while I'm driving. Just sitting in morning traffic. And I'm excited, though. I'm wearing a top today that I bought late last year, and it was one of those ones that I just grabbed my size off the rack and didn't try it on, and got home and I'm like, oh, a bit tight across the boobs. Bit tight across the boobs. Might need to lose a little bit of boobage for that to fit. Well, anyway, it's on today and it's a bit loose. So my going to the gym and doing keto again has paid off. Yeah. They're amazing people. Their optimism and their humour is amazing. I tried to do some stories on batshit showing a bit of humanity, despite what they would be entitled to be doing and thinking and saying. The tank, the Russian tank that ran out of petrol, and the Ukrainian man that offered to buy them petrol and send them back to Russia was good. Finn got very fired up though. He sort of missed my point. I was trying to find some light-hearted stories, and there was also the Ukrainian woman that was giving the Russian soldiers sunflower seeds. So she said, so when you die, something good will grow. Oh, it's not just my boobage. It's I've lost weight, I think, around my back and stuff as well, and definitely around my belly area. That middle-aged, sticky under your boobs is gone. You beauty. So it's quite nice to put on a top that I couldn't wear 2 months ago. I mean, I could have worn it, but it didn't look great. Ukraine is offering 500,000 rebels to surrender. The only bit of news I heard this morning was talk of nuclear weapons maybe coming into the mix. I think Putin's lost the plot. Even his own people. And all the people protesting against what he's doing in Russia that are getting arrested. And you wish you could lose some, Reese? I'm just doing, well, I'm actually in a week of, I don't do keto properly. Like, I don't get into ketosis and stay in ketosis because I don't find it sustainable. So I give myself like a breakout week, and I've done 6 weeks of keto, and I'm having a breakout week where I just eat whatever I want. 6, you don't crave a lot of stuff, so you tend to keep eating really healthily. But I love rice, and I'm having sushi today. So look at us, we're chatting about world issues again, and everyone bails. It's so weird to me. Maybe YouTube's not my platform. Maybe I should be on TikTok. No, I couldn't be on TikTok. TikTok's just a whole lot of narcissists going, look at me being hot, dancing. Yeah, keto. I mean, well, the keto I'm doing now, though, is great because it's an Australian girl. So it's more in line with an Australian diet. And it's the first keto plan that isn't super oily like the one that I was doing before. And I did make some amazing stuff doing it, but for the most part, because it was a Scandinavian website, they eat a lot more cheese and cream and oil and stuff. And the last time I tried to do a meal plan on that website, it actually made me feel really nauseous thinking about eating that shit again. But the Aussie one, it's the first one where everything, there hasn't been one meal that I haven't liked. In fact, they've all surprised me how good they've been. But she also does keto breads and muffins and stuff, and they're really good. So yeah, I'm going to get a big fat Japanese poke bowl kind of lunch today that I love, and I'll probably, this top will probably be tight when I'm driving home. And I'm very gym addicted at the moment. I'm going to the gym a lot. Plus, I'm doing online gym classes at home, yoga in particular. Um, and summer's been beautiful. Lots of days at the beach. Today's not really a beach day, but my tank is full of water again because it rained all day yesterday. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, I could never do full-time keto because, you know, carbs are my enemy for sure. Like that's where I get chubby. Um, and Tassie has amazing potatoes, and we have a cold winter, and you want to eat carbs in winter. Um, but it's weird. I actually usually lose my weight coming out of summer and heading into winter. Going into summer with all the Christmas parties and alcohol and stuff, and I'm not a big drinker, but even just having one glass of wine, I can feel the weight going on. But my goal is to go live next summer in a bikini. Yeah, you heard me right. I'll do a beach walk one day and I'll put the camera in the dunes and I'll walk down to the water and have a swim in my bikini. And you'll all be like, oh my God, Tori, don't do that. Don't do that ever again. But that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm going to show that you can be 56 and wear a bikini. Yeah, that's the plan. So there'll be trigger warnings and look away warnings, but that's my goal. Crystal, you don't have to hang around. There's only a small group of us anyway, because, you know, I'm not bitching about YouTubers. If my title said so-and-so is a wanker, I'd probably have 500 people in here. We all know. We've all been on YouTube long enough to know what draws a crowd. It's not chatting or trying to have fun. Sadly. You want to be big on YouTube, you got to be a bitch, basically. You like your beer, but yeah, that's, oh my God, I get so bloated drinking beer. I love it though on a hot day. Like if I've done heaps of work around the block and on the deck in my garden, I love a nice cold beer. And I love a beer on a hot day. Like there's nothing more refreshing. But I can't drink beer all day and night like some of my friends can. They just knock them back like there's no tomorrow. I tend to have my one little. My favourite beer is Corona too because it's fairly sort of light. Um, I have my little Corona and that's it. But I also like ginger beer as long as it's not too sweet. And I'm looking for a new scammer to do some catfishing with. So keep an eye out on my channel for that because that is always a good time. I have got plans to ramp up my YouTube again. I've really enjoyed some downtime, spending it with family and friends over summer, having people to stay, spending lots of time on the beach, all that sort of stuff. Most people who know my channel know that I do tend to disappear a little bit over summer. Yes, Krabby's ginger beer. It's the best. It's my favourite. Being from Oregon, I'm a beer snob. You were the first to do craft beers. Well, there you go. There's quite a few craft breweries here, and there's a lot of beers that I do like, but there's a lot I don't. Some of them are just too bloaty and heavy for me. But yeah, Krabby's is a great ginger beer. Although we've got a brand here called Gillespie's, which is a local brand, and they're beautiful too. I like trying all the different ginger beers from around the world. There's a Japanese one I really like too. I can't remember the name of it, but it's delicious. Oh, Matzo's. It's my fault you bought alcohol, Ruth. Will it be my fault if you drink it? I mean, my body's still. I'm a lot better now with my recovery from burnout, but it's still not really good with alcohol at all, which doesn't bother me. But if I do have a drink, it literally will be one. Like I opened a second ginger beer the other day, like I was catching up with some people and had a second one, and I had like two mouthfuls, and that was it. I ended up tipping it out because I have a very low alcohol tolerance, and it makes me feel so sick. Like when I'm drinking it, I'm like, this is going to give you a hangover for at least X amount of days. So, but I used to love drinking. I used to love wines. Um, used to really enjoy it. But now I look at some of my friends when they get really smashed, and I'm like, fuck, that's kind of unattractive, dudes. You're loud and in my face, and you smell a bit too. So can you back off? Oh, if you get crabbies at a bargain price, even better. I love all these roadworks. So many people go on social media complaining, and it's like, um, we've all been given so much warning about this, and you do realise when they're done, these roads are going to be so much better. Your journey to town is going to be so much quicker. And look at all the people that's employed. Like, roadworks warm my heart. You're a wine zero. You're all about the beer. Yeah, see, I used to love white wine, and I can't drink white wine now. It makes me feel so sick. But I do like a cheeky red in winter. We make some nice reds in Tassie, and a little Pinot Noir and an open fire. Is there anything better? Yeah, there is. A hot toddy and a fire pit, even better. The worst thing about these roadworks is the speed restrictions. Not that I have any issue with them, because I think it's really important we don't go fast because there's human beings working and walking around and stuff. It's the cars that, for some reason, think that all the traffic around them is doing 60 just to piss them off, and they think they're the exception to the rule. And yeah, in fact, case in point, this blue car right here. Everyone's cruising along doing 60. I'm surprised they haven't actually jumped in the other lane and sped up, because that car was quite a way behind me. But that's what annoys me, just people showing themselves for the twats they are. People do like to complain, including me right now. I'm complaining about, well, whingers actually make me whinge. I've known that for years. I used to do a comedy routine about people and their whinges. And then I'd be like, at the end of it, I'd be like, fucking hell, the whingers are making me a whinger. But yeah, people who think they're the exception to the rule always irritate me. It's like 50 cars around you all following the speed limit, but for some reason, there's always that one car that's like, I'm the exception to the rule. I'm going to tailgate people and flash my lights and get really angry at them because they're doing the right thing. I can't read chat at the moment because we're cruising down the highway in the wet, wet rain. How bizarre. I hope you've all got cool shit to do tonight or tomorrow or today. I think you're right, there'd be others. So people do just like to complain. I mean, you can see that on YouTube. Like, there's so many subscribers that are just consistently whining about shit. And you just sort of look at them and think, do you just, and creators, do you just wake up every morning and the first thought is, what can I complain about today? It seems like such a waste of energy. Like, however long you've got on the planet, do you really want to spend the bulk of it being grumpy or nasty? Like, it's very disappointing too when people are complaining about, you know, and that sort of saying of first world problems. But when there's so much going on the planet, where, you know, graphic loss with COVID and so many people the planet over grieving, losing family members, friends to COVID, people losing businesses, people have not seen their family members for years, like all that sort of stuff going on. And all the conflict that goes on around the world. Obviously, Ukraine's at the forefront at the moment, but, you know, imagine being in their shoes right now and how much we've got to be grateful for. And then you come to YouTube and the things that people are getting fired up about and doxing each other and calling the cops and CPS and all that shit. And it's like, over what? Someone saying something on YouTube that you didn't like? Like, if that's the worst thing that happens to you today, that somebody on YouTube says something that you don't like, you're actually doing okay. You're not farewelling a family member on an iPad who's about to die from COVID. You're not hearing a siren go off in Ukraine and having to head to safety with your 3-year-old little backpack with all of her identification papers and money and everything in case you get separated, and explaining to her where she needs to run to. And, like, seriously, we've got the most horrific flooding going on in Queensland at the moment, like the worst floods ever seen or recorded, I think. So many homes, thousands and thousands of homes. There's been 8 confirmed deaths, but there's like a shitload of people still missing. And just watching all of these people scrambling up onto their roofs and hoping that they'll get rescued. And again, you look at that and just think that there was one woman last night sitting on her roof saying, my house is completely full of water, but the worst thing about it is my dog is down there somewhere. And just the sadness and the cleaning up that they're going to have to do, whether their insurers are even going to cover them. You know, if it happened to one house, it would be horrific, but it's happened to thousands and thousands. Like there are towns literally underwater. It's awful, awful, unimaginable. But then we jump onto the YouTube and there's some creator in the middle of a war about candles. So weird. Oh, thanks for the caps reminder, Ruth. Although not very chatty this morning. It's probably because I've been covering some heavy topics in between trying to make people feel good about themselves. So yeah, well, I'm bummed that I'm now no longer working from home, and it feels like a massive waste of time and money to be going into work every day. I'm grateful that I can pay for petrol and car parking, and I'm grateful that I've got a job, and I'm grateful that I can drive into a city that isn't under siege right now. My main sadness about not working from home is Sunny, because I've gradually been sort of trying to coax her to come out of my bedroom and be more social. Day by day, she's been improving a little bit. Hopefully, she'll just sleep all day and be glad that I'm not around, because I think I'm giving her the shits, to be honest. Yeah, so many people are just going through incredible hardship right now. And it's all because of other human beings. Like, human beings aren't that great, really, except for the nutbags on this channel. We're all awesome. But aren't human beings disappointing? We're just not that great, actually. But I did discover my niece is heavily into true crime as well. She actually wants to be a forensic psychologist, which would be an amazing career. But yeah, discovered a mutual love of true crime and had a really good chat about the murders. It sounds awful, but of Shanann and the girls, because she's following it as well. And it was really interesting listening to her views on it, very much on the same page as me, but she was horrified to hear about all these YouTube channels that are still going live with theories that are just completely batshit, and I so want to get into this lane because the right-hand lane freaks me out. When you end up driving on the wrong side of the road, I mean, it's the right side in the morning, but usually it's a road going in another direction, and I just can't get my head around it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. So it was kind of cool chatting to Lily about how revolting Chris Watts is and hearing her perspectives on it. But yeah, she's never ever suspected, never ever thought that he was innocent at all. But smart girl, smart girl. But she did say she's still very conflicted about OJ Simpson, and she is going to rewatch another documentary. She should become a YouTube psychologist. There's certainly a need for it. Where do you start though, BR the Star? That's the thing. You just go, yeah, where do you start? Because it's total insanity, really. I mean, I've been fascinated with the psychology of YouTube, but it's it's a lot to digest. You have a few suggestions? Go for it. I mean, just the fact that there are creators 4 years on still pretty much going live for hours at a time saying the exact same shit 4 years. Like, they haven't developed as people at all. They haven't evolved. There's no sort of self-awareness of, oh my God, I'm still doing the same shit 4 years on. But even weirder, there are huge audiences that are still listening to it 4 years on and lapping it up and paying for it. And it's like, how? Like, isn't the definition of insanity just doing or saying the same thing over and over and over and over again? Or one of the definitions. And you've got creators that are literally doing that. Sometimes the names might change, but the speech is the same. But worse, there's like hundreds of people lapping it up, wanting to listen to the same shit over and over and over. It's this really weird time warp of just unfulfillment. Like, they roll in and pay to be unfulfilled. They don't want to learn new things. They don't want to laugh. And then there's the psychology of grown adults on YouTube with limited responses to what is going on, who frequently use the word jealousy. They're jealous. Isn't that like teenage bullshit? Who seriously is jealous of anyone who sits on YouTube bitching about people? I can't believe how many creators use the word jealous. They're jealous of me. And in chat, the subs are going, they're just jealous of you. What the fuck? It does bring in the money. And no, the subs haven't evolved. That's what I mean. There's this weird time warp. And the fact that there's demand for it means the creators will continue to supply it. And I don't know about you guys, but I always look at these huge audiences. Like, you can go onto a live and there's 500 people in there, and 6 hours later there's 500 people in there still. And you think, imagine if all of you had volunteered just for 1 hour in this period of time. If you'd volunteered and done something to help people, what a difference you'd be making. But you're opting to just watch shit. And the sad thing is there's a whole new generation of channels that are kind of the same. I get excited when there's new YouTube creators and I go and check them out, but already it's like, you guys are no different. You're doing the exact same shit. And and you're now caught up in it and you're getting money, so you're going to keep doing it. And again, you've got people flocking and supporting you and not seeking refreshing original content or fun content or, beautiful music or dancing or whatever you're into, cooking. You'd rather spend your time and money in broken record channels that have nothing to offer except never ending bitching about other people. Oh, you reckon that it is like the high school cafeteria all over again? So you reckon it was phone companies giving away free phones and unlimited data? Could be. That's an interesting theory. Because, I mean, I'm very cynical, like even with the Christmas wish lists, and you've got all of these people putting wish lists on Amazon for what they need. And it's like, do you realize you're actually sitting on an expensive phone or laptop with internet right now? Like, you're already more privileged than most people on the planet. You don't really need anything because you're kind of already miles ahead of most people on the planet. But yeah, it could be. That's an interesting theory. I mean, look, nobody goes to YouTube and creates a channel with bad intentions, in my opinion. I think everybody wants to have a community that, is productive and strong and doing stuff. But the reality is, once they sort of get hooked on this whole, holy shit, if I turn my mic on and start talking about other people, I've suddenly got shitloads of people here throwing money at me. True, the ones who couldn't afford to watch for 7 hours now can. But even so, like, it's the fact that that's their choice to do that. There's so many great channels that do great shit. I'd much rather, if I was going to spend 7 hours on YouTube a day, Jesus Christ, the last place I'd be is in the communities I originally found when I came to YouTube. I know we didn't get free phones or unlimited data either, Ruth, so we can sulk together. Although I'm grateful we didn't. If we were offered that shit and it meant we were suddenly sitting on YouTube for 7 hours a day watching bitching, I'm actually pleased. I'm a bit early, so I'm going to pull over because I do actually need to go like into a loading area to unpack my office. But let's just sit here and chat for a little while. Imagine being married. Well, that's the other thing too, because I think there is a lot of YouTube addiction, just like there is with other social media platforms like Facebook and so on. And yeah, being married to people that are completely addicted to that, and you'd have it. Hopefully, some of them wear headphones, but imagine just like being a husband who's got a wife fully addicted to this shit and just that stuff playing out of speakers in your house for 7 hours a day. And you'd be like, hey, do you remember that thing called sex? Remember how we used to enjoy that? Shut up. They're in a bitch fight at the moment. Yeah, we don't get. Well, I mean, I've got unlimited data, but it's not free. I pay for it. And my phone is definitely not free. But imagine being given a free phone and all this free data, and that's where you choose to use it. I mean, it's warped. I'm glad that this community's got a handful of people on the same page. Are we the only ones? Are we the only group on YouTube that question this shit all the time? And how come there's like six of us? There should be hundreds. There should be thousands of us. But nay, verily, we are but a drop in the ocean. Yeah, it's not cheap here. Like in Australia invented Wi-Fi and we've got the most expensive and worst Wi-Fi in the world. Go figure. I'm questioning whether I leave my thongs on while I unpack my office or whether thongs as in flip-flops. I think I will, and I'll just put my work shoes on in the office. Yeah, we get charged a blinking fortune too. And even when like I have an annual review of my phone bill and I go into the provider that I'm with and they look at ways to save you money. And, eventually they might shave off $20 a month. But when you're already paying over $200 a month, it's kind of like, wow. I mean, don't get me wrong. Any money you can save is a good thing, but instead of paying $250 a month, you're now paying $230 a month. Doesn't really make you want to get naked and dance on tables, if you know what I mean. Let's see what the song of the day is. It's right all the time. Chasing wasted dreams and sharing our better days gone by. Missing you and feeling good. See, we were talking about sexy time. There's probably a husband out there with a YouTube wife who's playing music with saxophone solos, hoping it'll infiltrate her brain and make her horny. And she's like, yeah, just wait. There's still some gossip going on about people on your line that I'm never going to meet and I don't really know. I only know the persona they put out there for us all to see. Go away. Stop touching me. I'm watching YouTube. They're fighting over candles. It's important. You pay less than that for three. Yeah, exactly. Don't worry. We are unfortunately incredibly aware of how ripped off we are when it comes to internet and phone and stuff like that. I refuse to pay a contract. Found when I compare what I pay, it's so much cheaper to just pay for an occasional call or text. You pay hundreds less than your friend per year. Yeah, I'm on a contract because I live in a remote area. The telco I'm with has the only decent reception and I use my phone for everything. So, except Facebook now because I'm not posting on Facebook. I do have a quick look. If a friend's got something going on, I'll give them a call, but I'm not Facebooking anymore. I've got so many people overseas that I FaceTime on Messenger though and shit like that, and that's so much cheaper than paying for it. So I feel like I get my money's worth. But I've got a lot of friends who just connect to Wi-Fi with their phones, and they don't have any mobile data on it, and I don't know how they function. I'm seriously not pulling in to unload my car till the exact minute that I start work. Considering I had to load my car this morning in the dark and in the rain, I didn't do it last night because it was bucketing down, and woke up this morning and still bucketing down. Anywho, I might end this live because we've covered a lot, but the carnival is over. I'm no longer working from home. I send out positive vibes too that Sunny gets back to being her usual bouncy social self sooner rather than later. I worry about that little girl. And this morning I opened up the door out onto the deck because she's pretty much living in my bedroom, and I've got used to her being just in my bedroom. But I opened up the door onto the deck to get some rugs and stuff in that are kind of stored in an area that's undercover, but they were getting wet. And she actually came out, not onto the deck, thank God, but she came out into the living room because I think she wants to escape. Luckily, I saw her and I closed the door, but yeah, she's breaking my heart at the moment because she's not my normal smoochy little friend. And I've tried, so many people have suggested stuff that I've tried, and nothing seems to be really making much of a difference. So send out positive vibes. I know she'll probably just sleep all day on my bed, but I miss my Sunny girl. She's just down in the dumps, and I don't know how to fix it. But I'll take her to the vet, and she'll probably end up on medication, I reckon. I reckon they're going to give her antidepressants. Thank you for the love for Sunny. It worries me, and she's turned another corner away. Like, she's getting worse. Now she actually looks at me like she hates me. She doesn't even purr when I pat her. She's just, yeah, it is sad. She'll be fine in a few days. She's been like this for a few weeks, Ruth. Like, ever since the fleas, whenever that happened, she's been like it. I reckon we're in the third week. Maybe even, I'll have to have a look. The 10th of February was when I took her to the vet. And she's been like it ever since then. And it sucks because I even know that taking her to the vet is going to make her anxious because she doesn't like being put in her carrier. She likes going in the car, but she doesn't like being put in her carrier. And that's going to make her shitty as well. She's sulking. They sulk for weeks. Okay, so this is normal? Because I've never had a cat that sulked for weeks. Biscuit and Ollie were both just like in your face, sassy, opinionated, playful. Is she anemic? I don't know. I don't know. I might even see if the vet will come to me and they can observe her in her natural habitat. I mean, the fleas, when we got onto it, was pretty early. She wasn't like fully infested. She just had some fleas. And the night that she let me comb her for about an hour and a half, we got nearly all of them out. And there weren't that many. Like, I don't think even 100. And then after that, I combed her a couple of times on the bed, and then for a couple of days after that, there'd be dead fleas because they gave her the flea treatment. So when the fleas were getting on her, they just died. There were a few on the bed for about 2 or 3 days, and then that was it. And the whole house has been defleed. But ever since then, she's just been in the bedroom sulking, like Ruth said. It's a great word. She is sulking, and she's sulking at me now too. Like, even that last little bit of smoochiness when I'd go to bed and she'd come and get on my chest and have a massage, head massage, even that stopped. She now lies on the bed with her back to me, and if I touch her, she gives me the death look. In fact, she almost looks at me like, when I get into bed, she almost looks at me like, what are you doing on my bed? You've had some very weird cats. Your cat's allergic to fleas, became anemic and acted like that. Okay. I might see if I can get the vet to do a house call. I might say, look, I really don't want to add to her anxiety by trying to get her in a carrier. Is it possible for you guys to come? I mean, I don't mind paying a bit more for a house call, and at least they can, observe her and just do whatever they need to do. But that's worth considering, BR the Star. So what fixed it? I'm not going to log off till I have a potential solution for Sunny. Because I just feel at the moment that she's sulking is a really good word that Ruth used. She's even turning against me now. And this morning, because she could hear the rain from the deck with the door open, she actually came out because I reckon she's also wanting to escape, run away. It breaks my heart because she's such a beautiful, social, smoochy girl. Even with Lily staying, and she loves Lily, she wouldn't come out and hang out with us. She stayed on my bed the whole time. Lily got in the habit of going and lying on my bed and chatting to her, and she wasn't even really smoochy with Lily. At least the first hour of my working day is setting up my office again. Kind of like that. I can't do any work until my monitors and everything are all back on and connected, and I'll take my time. Yes, I do put music on when I go out. There's a lot of YouTube channels for cats with anxiety and depression. And sometimes I just put chill out music. And one time I got home, I put chill out music on, and I got home and the music had moved on to like hardcore rave music. And I was half expecting her to have a chopper chop and a whistle and be dancing on my bed. But yeah, it was full on techno. It was hilarious. They put some fluids and simmering and something else under her skin. Had to eat some canned food that helped anemia. It took a few weeks, but it got better. Okay. I think I'll see if I can get a home visit happening because, yeah, if I can reduce any further anxiety for her. But no, she's got music playing, and I'm giving her space, but I'm also trying to let her know that I love her. But yeah, she just looks at me with this piss off face. But it does worry me because, especially working from home, I've been able to observe her. Like my sister was saying, if you were working in town every day and coming home, you probably wouldn't notice it. But because I've been at home a lot, yeah, I love all the studies about music and how it impacts animals and plants and stuff. It's pretty cool. Cows on classical music get less mastitis. Well, that's awesome. Nobody wants mastitis. And yeah, a bit of heavy rock. I mean, I get it. I'm all about music therapy for myself. I had music playing a lot when I worked from home until I had to speak to clients, and then I'd have to turn it off. But I've always got something going on in the background. But yeah, Sunny has music playing the whole time she's at home on her own. Even if I go to the shop, I put it on. But thanks for your suggestions, guys. I'll see if I can get a home visit from the vet on Wednesday or Thursday and see if we can get on top of this, because I don't want her to be sad. I didn't know they sulked for weeks because, yeah, I've had two very boisterous, social, playful cats in the past. Like Sunny's the first cat that I've had that actually knows she's a cat. Oliver and Biscuit thought they were dogs. Sunny actually knows she's a cat and acts like a cat. I better get a mask ready too. At least it's not raining while I'm going to unload the car. That's one bonus. Hopefully there's a trolley floating around and I can do it all in one load. Thanks for hanging out with me, Groovers. I hope you all have lovely days or nights, and thank you for the tips about Sunny. Hey, here's a question for you guys before I sign off. Masks. If you've got the sort of like, not really surgical, but you know, the blue and white masks, blue on one side, white on the other, which way do you wear them? Do you wear them white or do you wear them blue? Just curious. Because I swap mine around depending on what outfit I've got on. Sometimes I wear them white, sometimes I wear them blue. All right, get into this loading bay. Thanks, VR the Star, and thanks for your suggestions as well. Blew out. Blew out. Right. Interesting. I'm blew out today. Oh, you've got the ones like the beaks. I've got like full on surgical ones, but I only wear them when I go to the like to the doctor or to when I went to get my booster. I save them for when I'm likely to be around people that are sick. But take care, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with me, and spread love and peace and joy all over YouTube if you can. And hopefully I'll see you all again very soon with some scam baiting or some fun. Take care, everyone. I love you guys.